Hello, friends and beautiful people. Hello, hello. It is Kathryn. How are you? Welcome to this master class, Removing Fear from Your Desires. It's juicy. We got some juicy stuff to talk about. I want to share this in a couple places, so forgive me while I do that. If you are joining, say hello. Let me know you're here. There I am. And it's a dreary day here in the Pacific Northwest. It's pretty gray out there. Let's see, that's better. That's better. I'm going to share this in a couple groups. For the life of me, I don't know why my spell check on my phone puts desires as desires. How's that a word? Spell check. You gotta love it, right? All right, so I'm gonna share to a couple groups. Boom, there. And if you are here, say hello. Let me know you are watching, enjoying. And if you're watching later on, you know, go ahead and hashtag replay. That'd be great. Share into one more group here. Let's see. So I'm very excited today. Very, very excited because I opened up my new group, Momentum of Flow. So everything I'm sharing with you here today, if you absolutely love this, you are going to want to be in Momentum of Flow. Our first call starts on December 6th. I'm really, really excited about this group because it is so incredibly unique. It's unique in the sense that this is something that addresses the most important thing, I think, in the span of our human evolution and spiritual trajectory, which is our desires, because our desires nudge our lives forward in the ways that they're meant to. It's aligned with our spiritual blueprint. It's aligned with our divine blueprint to evolve through the nudgings of our desires. From our soul self, from our multidimensional self, this is simple. Your soul self understands this completely. It is the most natural thing in the world as part of your human embodiment of your divine spirit and energy to pursue your desires, because that is what evolves your life forward. That is what actually aligns you with your human destiny in this lifetime. So is there anything more important then in that sense than our desires? I don't think so. But the rub is that we don't see it when we're in our human embodiment and we are, you know, fully in the bubble of our ego's perspective. We don't see our desires as the most natural thing in the world. We don't see this as being aligned with our natural ability to evolve through our creations, through how we create our reality. And this is a problem, because as we are more and more initiating into the New Earth timeline, we're really going to have to grapple with this. We're going to have to suss this out, this block imposed by us, decisions that we make about what we're willing to have, what we're allowed to have, what we give ourselves permission to have, and what we don't. These are human constructs of limitation. There is no limitation that exists outside of you. Let's clear that up right away. This is a great forum for me to be able to tell you something that is aligned with your higher spiritual truth. You are creating your reality every single day, every single moment, with every single thought, with every single feeling. And how you create a narrative around those thoughts, those feelings, those beliefs, those assumptions, those attitudes, those opinions, those memories of you. You're creating a narrative. You're creating a storyline for yourself. And this is your freedom, or it is your limitation. But there is nothing that exists outside of you that is imposing boundaries or limitations or obstacles on you. Based on how you perceive yourself and where you fit into reality and fit into the world based on your own assumptions, you're going to either see the world as a place of great expansion, of great opportunity and possibility and potential, or you're going to see it as an endless, consistent list of obstacles and barriers and things to overcome. So that's a great opportunity to clear this up right away. So I see that there's a few of you joining. Please let me know you're here and say hello. So when we are viewing our desires as something that is unnatural to us, we've got something really interesting going on, okay? Because as I mentioned, from your soul self, from the multidimensional aspect of you, it's actually quite simple, your human evolution. It's pretty streamlined. And you know the thing about the cosmos, the thing about nature itself, it loves simplicity. It is always looking for the easiest, quickest route from A to B. Nature is very intelligent, and nature is extremely efficient. It's only humans that complicate things and convolute things where there doesn't need to be that energy at all. And humans have gotten really good with doing that. We have a real knack for creating obstacles and limitations and creating a story. That's how creative we are. We're creating a story of who we are and how the world is. Hi, Kate. Based on what our experiences have been in life. Hi, Jamie. So this is a really interesting thing to sit with here. And we have an excellent opportunity in this masterclass to talk about this. That, you know, to your multidimensional self, your desires are the driving force of your earthly expansion. And your desires then, based on your soul self perspective, your desires are aligned with your natural ability of being a human of divine origins. Okay? That is to say that you are here to drive your life forward through your desires, and this is the fuel that allows you to align with your own destiny. Okay? And so along the path of life and through many different events and experiences, you had the opportunity to feel contrast to this, to what your soul's truth is that I just illuminated. You've had many opportunities through events, situations, scenarios, different times in your life where you've been wounded, you've been traumatized perhaps. This is all contrast. And you're meant to feel the contrast because that is the nature of being on this playground of 3D Earth. It's a grand experiment of emotion. And our human destiny can also be described as our emotional destiny. Because there is no human destiny without an emotional anchor here and there. And we decide things about ourselves based on this contrast, based on these events and experiences throughout life that allowed you to feel the opposite of what it feels like to have the peace and the gratitude and the appreciation for living in alignment with your desires. We're meant to experience the contrast of this, okay? And what was only never meant to be contrast in this duality game of 3D Earth, you decided to, you made the decision to take it in as truth. The contrast was never meant to be truth. It's just meant to be contrast. Do you all understand what I'm getting at when I say contrast? We live in a world of duality. And while we're still in a third dimensional frequency, duality is part of the package, okay? So I know there's a lot of talk in spirituality and in coaching that we are here to transcend the duality. And that is true to a certain degree. And many of us are vacillating between third, fourth, and fifth, and sometimes in some cases even sixth dimensional awareness all the time. We're going in and out of it all the time. And this is why we have a strange connection with time. That's why we have experiences where time speeds up, time slows down. I was having a little joke with one of my clients today. She's like, "What day is it? Are we having our class today?" And I said, "No, it's tomorrow." And she's like, "Oh my God, it's only Tuesday." And I was like, "Yeah, today is the longest week I've ever experienced." So we have these vacillating experiences of being in and out of different frequency spectrums. And we are still, though, in a body, we're still in density, even though we may have this experience of being connected to a higher level of consciousness and all the information and wisdom that's assigned to that level of consciousness. But we're still doing it while we're in a body. So that's the duality game we're here to play with. And so as long as we're in a body, as long as we're having this experience of density, duality, contrast, we're not going to fully transcend it until we leave this world or discard this mortal coil, okay? But it's really important to understand that we can marry aspects of our density, of our duality, of our contrast, so that we're not living in the negative polarization of duality, in the negative polarization of contrast. We're never meant to take up residence there. We are just supposed to witness it, experience it, have curiosity about it. Isn't that interesting? What can this teach me? What lesson can I glean from this experience of the contrast? Because our human destiny is an emotional destiny, we are here to take information from that, feedback, and then move on. Continuing our destiny. Continuing on with being nudged through this evolution of life by our desires. Okay? So I hope this makes sense. So when we've had experiences where we created a story of ourselves, we literally have a running narrative of who we are, and it's a negative polarization of our experience of life. Meaning we feel limited, we feel scared, we feel fearful, we feel worried, we feel anxiety, we feel tension, we feel hatred, anger, disappointment, sadness. These are all levels of contrast that we're meant to present them to us so that we can experience them and divinely witness them. They were never expressions we were meant to take up permanent residence in. And the problem with taking up permanent residence and allowing these energies to take up valuable energetic real estate within us is this, that it creates a direct obstacle and obstruction to you understanding the true nature of who you are, and that you are meant to nudge forward on your spiritual evolution, your human evolution, which are the same thing, because we are talking about physical ascension. Okay, that means you take the body with, you include the body in all the experiences. So that means that these are imposing direct obstacles to your experience of who you truly are and how you are meant to evolve. And your desires, which for many of us signify prosperity. Your prosperity prospers others. Say it out loud to yourself. My prosperity prospers others. Your abundance matters. Because when you are in this place of feeling prosperity, you are in the essence, you're giving off the essence from your own field, your energetic field. You are informing the collective through your own energetic state. And the more people that do that, we normalize prosperity, we normalize abundance. That is how we edge forward towards unity consciousness on this planet. It's not a one at a time kind of deal. We are all doing this for each other. So your prosperity prospers others. Through your connection in the collective, through your DNA, through your empathic connection to the entirety of the human family, we're informing each other all the time. It's okay to be in this state. It's not okay to be in this state. It's normal to be in this state. It's not normal to be in that state. What if, just think for a second, what if we normalized prosperity and a sense of equanimity? I love the word equanimity because it is peace within and peace without. That means there's very little friction or contrast between you and the natural environment you find yourself in. Equanimity is one of my absolute favorite words of all time, and I use it all the time in my Lotus Throne initiation. because that is really the essence of unity consciousness we are striving for. Are we going to get there in this lifetime, in my lifetime? I don't know, maybe not. But everything I teach and share, it's bigger than me. I know that from what I share and I teach, it's part of a legacy of light that hopefully continues long after I've left this world. But someone else will hear this, maybe a younger person, half my age, and will carry the torch forward with these words because they mean something. It's all bigger than us. And when you think of your abundance as not something that's selfish, when you think of your prosperity as not something that's selfish, it actually prospers others. It naturally lends itself when you're in your joy, when you're in your equanimity. People are like, I fucking want that. I want that for me. It's going to be great. And if we have a bunch of people walking around on this planet feeling that equanimity, just cast your mind to that. Allow yourself to picture it in your mind's eye. Allow it to take up resonance in the body and notice how you feel in your body. When you allow that essence to take hold, to let it cascade over your entire being, and you have that full kinesthetic experience of not only is it my prosperity, but it's prosperity for everybody. Think of yourself walking down the street, smiling at other people, having conversations, sharing joy with each other. I know it sounds lofty to a lot of people, but not for me. If it sounded too lofty for me, I wouldn't be doing what I do. And I wouldn't be doing what I've been doing for 20 plus years of my life if I didn't believe this was possible for humanity, right? So you can see where fear gets in the way of this, right? So the contrast became our fear. The contrast of just feeling the emotions of life, where we're never meant to take up permanent resonance in, but we're meant to feel them, and we're meant to guide them and move them through the body, and then allow them to integrate, alchemize them, because it's all just energy. Nothing's created nor destroyed, right? That's a law of thermodynamics, a law of physics. So energy of sadness was once something different. Energy of anger was once something different. It's all just energy. And here's the thing. Maybe this will be a great reminder for you. Your soul already knows this. Your multidimensional self already knows this. 3D Earth, every dimensional realm has keepers. Every dimensional realm has keepers, meaning they are the ones that manipulate energy in that plane, in that density, in that dimension. Humans are the keepers of 3D. Feeling equanimity in my body right now. Yes. Hi, Lori. Hello, gorgeous. Thanks for being here. So I forgot what I was saying. So when we're in this place of feeling the fear, it was once a sadness. It was once anger. It was once maybe feeling a victim. It was once maybe witnessing something that happened to someone else, not even you. So it was a vicarious experience that you decided to take on as part of your story. All of it is contrast. And we were never meant to take up permanent residence in contrast. It is simply feedback. But this contrast, when we languish in it, we marinate in it for too long, it becomes fear. And then fear becomes our truth. And so we allow these emotional states that morphed into fear, or that first were contrast, then morphed into fear. We allowed them. We gave those feelings, those emotional states, permission to be our truth. There is no force outside of us that did that. Nothing imposed on us that said, you have to now realize that this is your identity. You made that decision. You. And so there's radical self-responsibility rolled up in our desires, as you can see. Meaning you have to take not only full responsibility for what you're creating and what you want to do to nudge your life forward and make improvements in a very positive and proactive way, but you must also be very self-recognizing and be responsible for the feelings that you're holding on to that are the contrast to your desires. Does this make sense? When we do this, when we take this very simple step, and for some of you may be feeling it's not a very simple step. I got a lot of baggage. We all do. We all do. And I don't recognize that as an excuse. And when you work with me, you'll know that. I'll hear you out, but I don't allow commiserating in my space because it is energy that is misused. I don't like to say it's wasted energy because all energy is useful because we're alchemists. We're the transmuters. We are the ones who form the clay of all the energy here in 3D into form. And so the more we become responsible with that, the more empowered we are. The more we see, the more we really pull back on the lens and we can see the truth for the truth instead of the truth being an emotional baggage that we're carrying. Does that make sense? And so fear is the most unnatural obstacle to your natural ability. And your natural ability is to move forward on your human destiny through anchoring into a series of desires. It's like climbing a ladder because each desire, once fulfilled, leads to another. And we get to, before we have this desire, it used to be said, in the manifesting paradigm, it's be, do, have. Well, I don't use that anymore. I don't use that language or verbiage anymore because it feels clunky, it feels clumsy. It is not aligned with New Earth. Release, renew, create. Doesn't that sound better than be, do, have? Be, do, have sounds like really clunky. You know what it reminds me of? You remember that movie War Games? When they went into that facility, the NORAD facility, and they have all those super old computers that have been around since they invented computers in the 40s and 50s. And there's these big clunky things, and they're just computing, right? And beeping and doing all kinds of stuff and spitting out papers. And that's how I feel about be, do, have and that paradigm of manifesting, which is old paradigm. It's old earth. Release, renew, create. It's like a breath of fresh air to hear that, right? So you could think of when you're approaching your desires, okay, what do I need to release in order to create the capacity to receive the desire? Doesn't that sound better and a little more approachable than you just have to be it? You have to be it, and then you got to do something, and then you can have it. That doesn't work for me. And a lot of women that I work with are like, yeah, that just, it feels so much better. It feels lighter. It feels buoyant. It feels playful, right? And here's the thing. That's what's aligned with New Earth. It is lighter. It is more buoyant. It is more playful. And we're always being encouraged. I know I'm being encouraged because I tend to be a little bit of a stoic in my energy. It doesn't feel that way, but it's an invitation for me to be more playful with how I manifest and create my reality. To be in the paradigm, the New Earth paradigm of release, renew, create. Okay, so what do I need to release? What kind of fears? And usually a lot of our fears that are these unnatural obstacles to your natural ability to be a creator, moving forward on your human destiny through your desires, that's your natural ability. What's unnatural to that is fear, and usually it is some level of worry, right? When we think of something that's like a really, really juicy and big desire, how many times do you go right into the feeling of worrying about, well, how do I make it happen? What do I do? What if I fuck it up? What if I lose it? What if I get it and then someone takes it from me? Like there's a worry that takes hold. And worry is absolutely a fear. And worry is a contrast. In the monkey mind, where all of this resides, all of this contrast resides, what if you just looked at it as feedback, but you didn't take it in as truth? And a lot of times we're so used to this monkey mind because it's going all the time and it's chattering away all the time, telling us what we can't have, we're not allowed to have it, we're unworthy, we're too unwanted, we're too unlovable, blah, 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 right? On and on and on and on and on. Okay, none of it's true unless we allow it to be. None of it is true unless we allow it to be true, right? So what if we just started looking at it as, okay, maybe the first thing I need to release is this attachment, unnatural attachment that I have to thinking that everything that goes on up here is correct and true. These are indicative of your emotional experience, but your emotional experience is usually not aligned with the truth of any situation. Emotion is just an experience, not a truth. Okay? And a lot of our emotions are simply contrast. How does it feel to hear this, you guys? For those of you who are here, just let me know if this feels like a breath of fresh air, if it feels like it's unleashed something in you, it feels light to hear it. Maybe it's something you couldn't articulate on your own, maybe. I have a way of doing that with my clients, being able to bring words to just the essence of something, right? So just allow yourself to really bask in this, because this is what your soul already knows. It really does. It feels light and so true. Light and playful for sure. Thanks, ladies, for the feedback. Yeah, it feels light and playful, and it just feels like a relief. That's the feeling that I have to say took hold for me the most, was like, I had a really hard year. I may get teary here for a second. I had a really hard year. And it started around this time last year in 2021, and it continued through almost half of 2022. And it's been a really, really difficult year. Spiritual rock bottom. That's what I call it. Dark night of the soul doesn't cover it. Things completely broke down in my life. My business kind of screeched to a halt. A lot of things that I was doing. Oh, it's just started to snow. How pretty. That feels like a beautiful affirmation. A lot of things just either exploded, collapsed, fell apart, disconnected. And I was feeling very, very lost and extremely disappointed in myself. And I just let go. And I'm continuing to let go. It's a constant state of surrender. And every time I do, and I allow myself to let go of another layer, another veil, another overlay that is a misperception about my truth. Every time I let that go, I feel freer. I feel lighter. I feel more open. I feel more expansive. And every time I do that, every time you do that, you create a greater capacity to receive. And so fear has no place. And it's not to say that you're going to get rid of fear entirely, but it is about the mindset you have about fear. If you just look at it as, well, this is interesting feedback. I'm certainly curious about why this is here. You develop a kind of neutrality around fear. And what I found this year of not only digging deep into this, and this is why I'm offering Momentum of Flow. There are two things that I'm offering that are really going to be the two things that I'm offering for a while, because they came from this breakdown, which is, all breakdowns are really breakthroughs, really. If you're gonna optimize your feeling around a breakdown so that it is something progressive, see it as a breakthrough, because it's really helpful. So this breakthrough allowed me to put together everything that's in Momentum of Flow, which is starting on the 6th, and it's going to be amazing. And if you love everything I'm talking about here, you are absolutely going to love this. And it's hard to say no when it's only $99 a month. And you could join for a month, or you could join for 6 months. But if you really want momentum in creating this flow of being in alignment with your desires in your life, you're going to want to join for 6 months. And after a month of being in here, you're going to love it. So putting this together, putting Lotus Throne Initiation together, this contains everything that helped me to turn everything around. I moved out of disappointment with myself, with the world, feelings of deep doubt and mistrust. And they're still there because it's layers. Everything is layers. And when you think, okay, I've built them up over a lifetime, you're not going to go through 1 month of healing and get rid of it all. It's not going to happen. And then we're having new experiences in our lives all the time. So it's a consistent dance. I don't like to call it effort. It's a consistent dance. It's the ebb and the flow. And that's why we have two calls in Momentum of Flow. The ebb call is addressing this fear, addressing the worry around fear, addressing the other things that can take hold in the body. And when I started working with the vagus nerve, when I started working with the fascia, and the fascia is the connective tissue in the body, it's really a light web that exists within the body to hold all the muscles, tissues, and organs together. And the vagus nerve, it's called vagus in Latin, is to wander. And it's a cranial nerve, the longest cranial nerve in the body, and it affects all systems of the body. And so the nervous system as well has a response, especially when we have big, juicy desires and we have worry about them. We feel fearful about them, even though we might be excited about them. It sets off a similar cascade of chemicals in the body when we have very, very juicy and exciting desires and when we have deep fears. It's very similar. Anxiety and excitement are very similar in the body. And so when I started employing these things of working with the vagus nerve, working with the fascia, working with the nervous system, when I'm proactively working on my desires and creating momentum and flowing with my desires, working with the body to teach it how to hold this energy in a way where it feels different from fear, shit just fucking changed, like big time for me. My body felt more open, it felt more light. The heaviness and the density I felt around the worry and anxiety of being able to not only call in a desire, but be able to keep it, you know, feeling like I could own it and have it and maintain it and sustain it in my field. That's a very, very big part of our physical ascension process. It is a physical process, this ascension journey. We're taking the body with. And so it's very worrisome when we have a lot of teachings there about going out of the body, discarding the body, you know, forgetting about what the body needs. It is very much a physical expansion as much as a spiritual one. It is a human evolution, maybe even more so than a spiritual one. Our spirit is already woke. Our soul is already enlightened. It's our human that's catching up to that. And so it is our responsibility with our desires to teach the body the difference between fear and desire and be able to move the fear through the body to alchemize it, to transmute it, turn it into fuel for creativity, creative fuel for helping us to call in and keep and maintain the fullness of our desires. It is a beautiful alchemy because we are the ones molding the clay here of all the energy in 3D. We are the keepers of 3D. Humans are the creators in this realm. I know it doesn't feel that way to you. Maybe it does, but for some of us, a lot of us, it doesn't feel that way. But this is an opportunity to correct this now, right? And so when you think about, let's talk about worry, since this is what particular emotion of contrast we happen to be kind of fixed on at the moment. What would you say if we were to alchemize worry into its highest energetic, positive polarization of that energy? So if you think of worry as a negative polarization of energy, and no feelings, honestly, are negative or positive. They're all just feedback. But in terms of worry, when it allows us to experience a cascade in the body of anxiety, right, of nervous system burnout, that's a negative polarization of energy. It's an unwelcome contrast that we often hold over time in the body, especially those who are chronic worriers. Both my parents, mom and dad, still to this day, chronic worriers. I used to joke, and I still do, that they worry so much that no one else in the world should ever need to worry about anything. I certainly don't need to worry about anything. My parents are doing enough for everybody. And so you probably know people like that. Maybe you are someone like that, okay? But what would you say would be the positive polarization if you were to alchemize worry into its highest emotional counterpart? What would you say that is? And some of you might already know because you've worked with me for a while. But what would you say it is? Any guesses? The highest positive aspect of worry. Something more usable. Something that is more productive and proactive for you. No takers? Trust. Think about it. If you are in a place of full self-trust, what is there to worry about? No matter what events or experiences, situations you find yourself in, if you trust yourself, it's handled. It's handled. I don't know how I'm going to handle it, but I trust myself enough. I have a lot of wisdom. I've been on this earthly experience for a while. I've had a lot of previous events and experiences of contrast. I figured that out. Fuck, I'm still here. I swear a lot, I'm sorry. Especially when I get excited and passionate. It's trust. It's trust. And so we teach the body how to take a fearful emotion like worry and be able to hold it differently. And when the body holds an emotion differently, it changes. It alchemizes. It changes form. It transmutes. And if it's a positive polarization, that is only and ever fuel for us to keep moving forward on our desires, to push our life forward in positive ways. And actually, it's better to say that desires are what pull us forward through life. Because it is very much that we are led by our desires instead of pushing at them, which is very old paradigm. Be, do, have. Release, renew, create. So the renew part is the alchemization. We renew ourselves through proactively moving that polarized, that contrasting energy through the body, teaching the body how to hold it in a way where it's more positive, where we don't go into nervous system burnout, where we're not, overworking our cranial nerve, the vagus nerve, where we're learning how to be flexible and supple in the body by teaching the fascia how to work with these energies. This is powerful stuff. And I gotta say that, I've taken bodywork classes before and definitely worked with the fascia and the nervous system and even the vagus nerve before in classes, but not in a way that we're addressing it here in Momentum of Flow. It really is addressing the 4-body system because we are working with the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual components of your humanness. So it's a very holistic experience of working with fear and desire. And there is so much to talk about here that is why I'm offering this as a 6-month container. So if you are loving this and you want more of this, it's going to be so great, Lori, and I'm so glad you're in there. It's going to be exciting to work with you again, and I love it. I love every woman that's in here, and I know that there are more to come. I can see 20, 30, 40, 50 women in here easily, and I hope that's the case because this is going to create some momentum in your life. We're starting at the end of 2022. We go through May of 2023. So if you are really working on something big, and right now you're sitting and you're worried about, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know how I'm going to hold it. I've created great things before, but they slip through my fingers like sand, or, I feel like I'm spinning about like a paper boat on a vortex of water. I feel like I'm in all directions. This is your opportunity to make sense of what everything is going on in your field and be able to give it a proper home. And it's a holistic approach, so we leave nothing out. We are working with the body. We are working with your mental resilience. We're working with your emotional intelligence. We are working with your spiritual God self. It's a full package. And we have 2 calls a month. So our first call is on December 6th. And for those of you who had thought it was going to be the 5th, I'm sorry, I had to change the day because I'm doing some DNA activations and that takes a lot of my energy out. So I had to move the day from into Tuesday. And it's at 1 p.m. Pacific time. That is our ebb call. So we're going to talk more about fear. We're going to talk more about worry and the actual imprints it creates in the body and how to move that, how to use very simple and easy movements. I call them somatic sync movements to help you work proactively with these emotions and give them their proper home in the body, teaching the body how to hold this stuff and not be held back by life or from life because we don't have a proper home for our emotions, and how to work with alchemizing this so it becomes creative fuel. It's something that feeds your creativity, it feeds your imagination about how to create your desires, how to bring them in, and allowing you to feel that it is safe and okay to have them. When we do the flow calls, we're going to be teaching the body that it is safe with the vagus nerve, with the fascia, with the nervous system, that it is safe to hold these desires, because a lot of us do not feel safe and secure and at home with calling forth, bigger and bolder desires. This is a problem, especially for women, because women are here to rise up right now. Women are here to, be the leaders and the way showers and the torch bearers. How do we do that if we don't feel safe in our own body, safe to have our desires, safe to be bold in asking for what we want? And so this is also a place of leadership through sisterhood. This is a place where we can be divine witnesses of each other's journey, where we can offer support to each other. Remember, this is not a place for commiserating. That is not allowed. But it is a space to be safely witnessed and safely supported on your journey in a community of sisters, and in a place where, yes, I'm the host and the teacher in the group, but it is not the Kathryn show. When we are in our highest element of service to each other, we support each other and share through what is going on in our lives, through where we feel still hung up, through where we feel we've had breakthroughs. We're here for all of that with each other in this group. So, and it's going to take us into, the first 5 months of 2023 together. So talk about creating momentum. That's what this is about. And it's very easy for just about anybody to do, because it is at a price point that I want it to be very approachable. It's only $99 a month, and it's a membership. So you can come for 1 month, you can stay for 2, you can stay for all 6, you can cancel anytime. If you're in for all 6 months, I have a special opportunity for you to join with a single payment where you save, I forget how much it is, $55. So there's that option when you see the link that I'll put in the comments here. And the first call is December 6th. The second is on the 22nd of December, because 1222 is a very, very powerful number in numerology, and I'll talk about that on 1222 in the group. The ebb call is first on the 6th. The flow call is on the 22nd, and you're going to receive very powerful somatic sync movements. These are easy, light movements. If you have impingements of any kind, there are modifications for everybody. Don't worry about it. I'm going to show you some really cool stuff in there. Also, there's an opportunity to join Unplug, which is an opportunity to work with very, very powerful emotions like worry. And I'm going to offer a 50% discount on that online program if you want to add this in to what we're already going to be doing in this group. What else did I want to say? All the calls are on Zoom, but the replays will be in the member vault where you sign up. So you have access for as long as you like with those replays, but also all the replays are going to be in our private Facebook group, which is already open. I opened it today. I'm streaming in there right now. So $99 a month. How can you say no to that? And you can cancel anytime. But if you do cancel, you decide that you want to be there 1-2 months and you want to cancel, that's it. You can't come back in, because it's too much for me in terms of back of house stuff. So can't have people canceling and coming back in all the time. It's too much to keep track of. So that is the option. If you don't like it for whatever reason, I can't really imagine why you wouldn't, but if you don't like it, you can leave anytime. So it's very, very low impact on your wallet, but high value and high impact on your journey of creating momentum with your desires. So I hope to see you in there. I cannot wait to get started with our first call and our first somatic sync movements on December 6th. Jump in there now. I'm going to put the full kit and caboodle and info right here in the comments right now. If you have questions about any of it, feel free to reply here. You can also reach out to me on Facebook Messenger. Thanks, Lori. We're done. You have an amazing day and week, and I will see you on the 6th. If you have questions, just reply in the comments here. You can reach out to me on Facebook Messenger if you like. And if you want to read more about Momentum of Flow, it's in the comments here. Everything you need to know is there. And we're officially open. The group is officially open, so you can come in and introduce yourself, get to know the ladies in there. We are going to be a tremendous group. I know there's going to be more and more of you joining, and I'm so excited. I'm busting at the seams. I can't wait to start teaching this group. It's so unique and so powerful. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for your time. I wish you lots of love and peace. Bye-bye.